you are serious about one, taking control of your health, two, you want to enhance your physique, and three, you just want to feel good. Maybe you just want to eat more. Still, working out, exercising, doing all that is gonna allow you to do that, and it's gonna lower your risk, man, being sick, man. So listen, track your macros, man. There's nothing wrong with this. Track them.
That's where my base at.
They riding my ways. They riding my ways. They riding my ways.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe G, Elite Health and Physique. I'll be showing you how to calculate, set up, and track your macros. Before we start talking about macros, let's clarify why. And normally when we think about why, it usually comes down to this one word right here. Worth. Is this worth it to you? Is there value in tracking macros? Do you value yourself enough to track the macros, right? Do you value the way you feel? Now we're talking energy, we're talking mood, right? And then do you value the way you look? Now, of course, you may be a beautiful person on the inside, but let's be honest, we like to look good, right? Everybody's looking for that. So if that is valuable to you, then tracking your macros is worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze. So as you become accustomed to tracking your macros, there's some importance in understanding how your body responds to each macro, because your body is going to respond differently to each macro depending on your body type. So it's very important to kind of, as you go through this process, learn and pay attention and experiment with your body to see what works best for you, essentially. So that's what you're looking to do. The benefits of tracking your macros is that when you hit a plateau, some people call it the wall, some people call it a plateau. Basically, it's a point where you've been dieting for X amount of months, and you can't lose any more weight. No matter what you try, you're stuck, right? So if you hit a plateau and you don't know what you're eating, it's very, very hard to break the plateau. That's why most people get frustrated and they just go back to doing what they were doing before. But if you take the time to understand and track your macros, when you hit a plateau, you'll know where to go. What gets measured gets managed. If you measure it, you manage it. Simple stuff. But it's important. What are macronutrients? Macronutrients are the chemical compounds we eat in the largest quantities that provide us with energy. So those are your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and fiber. Most people don't put fiber in there. It is one of your macros. That's a whole different topic for another day. So carbs, fats, and proteins. Those are your macros. So for carbs, 1 gram equals 4 calories. Protein, 1 gram equals 4 calories. Fats, 1 gram equals 9 calories. So you can easily see there, 4, 4, and 9, how fats, if you eat too many of them, they can shoot your calorie content up. And that's what a lot of people miss, and then they can't lose weight because they're eating too much fat. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the good part. How do we calculate our macros? All right, so there's a bunch of different formulas you can use. You can use different calculators. You can go on different websites. You can go on Google, type in calorie maintenance calculator, and you can find a bunch of them. However, for the sake of simplicity, I like to use a simple formula. Whatever your body weight is, you would multiply that number by 14 or 16. Now, 14 would be if you are female or you have a slower metabolism. When I say slower metabolism, this means you would have to know this by dieting in the past and having slow weight loss, right? And seeing that your metabolism was slower sooner in the diet rather than further into the diet. So that would be the first number, 14. That's the number you would multiply your weight by, depending on those two factors. In order to multiply your body weight by 16, you'd be 1, a male, because males tend to have faster metabolisms, they lose weight a little quicker. Or 2, you would have to, again, have known by experimenting in the past, when you went on a diet, progressed with the diet, your metabolism was a lot faster. Those are the two numbers you use to give you a starting point. 14, 16. Multiply your weight by those, and that'll give you your maintenance calories. All right, so now we know how to determine our maintenance calories. Let's go ahead and play it out. So we got two people. We got Plain Jane and Regular Joe. Both weigh 200 pounds. Don't worry about Plain Jane. She's on her weight loss plan right now. She's finna get right. So both of them are 200 pounds. Plain Jane is gonna multiply her body weight, 200 pounds times 14. Regular Joe is gonna multiply his body weight, 200 pounds times 16. So if you do the math really quick, that's 2,800 calories for Plain Jane, 3,200 calories for Regular Joe. This is a good starting estimate for their maintenance calories. From here, we want to lose weight at a safe and steady pace. Lose weight slowly and you keep your metabolism healthier longer. In order to do that, we want to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's a safe recommendation in order to keep everything in line for as long as possible. In order to get there, we want to multiply 2,800 for plain Jane, 3,200 for regular Joe by 0.15 for 15%, 0.2 for 20%. That'll give you, depending on where you're starting, a good baseline of 1 to 2 pounds a week. So in this case, with multiplying each of those maintenance calories for plain Jane and regular Joe, that would give us a starting point of 2,300 calories and 2,700 calories respectively. Obviously, this number is about 50 to 60 calories off, but we like to round off to keep round numbers and make everything easier for tracking. So we're gonna go with 2,300 and 2,700 calories for plain Jane and regular Joe. All right, so we discovered our calories in order for us to lose 1 to 2 pounds every single week. For plain Jane, it's 2,300 calories, regular Joe, 2,700 calories. But now here comes the hard part where most people get lost. Now we have to decide what our percentages are for our carbs, fats, and protein, so that way we can use those percentages in order to maintain the muscles for as long as we can, maintain the metabolism, strength, keep our sanity as we go along this journey. What is the percentages we're gonna use? There's 2 parts on this, right? I'm a personal trainer and a bodybuilder, but I'm also a nurse. In the past, I've used the 40, 40, 20% split, and that's a standard bodybuilding diet split. 40% carb, 40% protein, 20% fat. And obviously through research and through experimentation, you come to learn that that's just because it's a standard, it's a good place to start. But custom macros are definitely more important because everybody's different. Nobody's the same. That may work for some people and other people it doesn't work for. For me personally, it worked. It did work. However, I did find a better way to do it. But, so as a starting guideline, that's what I'd like you to start at because it's simple, the numbers are round, and you can always adjust and go up and down to wherever. Now we're gonna find the percentages and plug those into our calories in order to find the macros that we're gonna need to hit every single day in order to lose that pound in 1 week. So, in the case of plain Jane, she has 2,300 calories, so we're gonna fit her macros. And we're gonna use that standard bodybuilding diet just for this example, again, to keep it simple. 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fat. You take 2,300 and you multiply that by 0.4, 40% of the carbs and the proteins that you're gonna get. You will get 920. So for your carbs and your protein, you need 920 calories respectively. In order to find the grams of carbs and proteins, what you would do is you would take that 920 and then you would divide that by 4, give you 230. So 230 grams of carbs, 230 grams of protein. And then lastly, we have our fat content. Same formula we use for the carbs and the protein, the same formula we're gonna use for the fat. 0.2 times 2,300 calories. And that will give you 460 calories or 51 grams. So for plain Jane, we have her macro set up for the first week. She's going to eat 230 grams of carbs, 230 grams of protein, and 51 grams of fat. In the case of regular Joe, he has 2,700 calories. What we do is the same formula, we repeat that. So we're gonna multiply 2,700 by 0.4. That is going to give us 1,080 calories. So we need 1,080 calories for both carbs and protein. And then in order to find the grams that we're gonna need in carbs and proteins, we would just divide 1,080 by 4. And that gives us 270 grams of carbs and protein respectively, what we're gonna use to start our diet. The last macro is a fat. Again, we multiply 2,700 by 0.2. And that gives us 540 calories. You divide that by 9, and that would give you 60 grams. For regular Joe, his diet setup would be 270 grams of carbs and 60 grams of fat. And again, these are just basic guidelines for you to get started. It's a good estimate, just like when the plumber comes over to service the house. It's an estimate. We don't really know what's gonna happen until you start working and we find out in the real world what's really going on with the diet and if these fit for you and your body type. So that wraps it up, ladies and gents. I hope you learn how to calculate, set up, and track your macronutrients. And if you like this video, be sure to give me a like down below. If you want to see more videos just like this one here, subscribe, get your weekly video every Sunday showing you how to take control of your health and letting you know the juice is worth the squeeze.
That's where my base at.
They riding my wave. They riding my wave. They riding my wave.